Mhm. Hey everyone, welcome to the Back to Joy show. So today we'll be discussing of a topic which has to do with how much joy can you handle. And I've got with me my beautiful co-host Sarah Love and Jamie Smith right there, over there. So thank you for being here. So Sarah, please go ahead.
Okay, wonderful. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and do a short meditation just to connect all the energy and to connect within our bodies as well. So close your eyes and take a deep breath in and then out. And then moving into your solar plexus in your body. Igniting your chakras. If you're not familiar with chakras, just know your energy centers in your body are opening and expanding. And then let's move into your heart center. And feel your heart center expanding wider and brighter. And then feel the energy connecting to everyone here on the call, whether they're here now or later, listening later. And sending joy and gratitude to all that is here. And then go ahead and breathe that in. And then open your eyes when ready.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So great. I just also wanted to share a little quote and also, okay. So we're going to start with a quote because we know about the muting and unmuting for our participant who has joined us. And I want to share this quote with everybody today who's watching. It's from Brene Brown, and I love this quote. It really made me think. And then, so I invite you to, if you feel so inspired, to share what this quote means for you. So this is on joy, which is our topic today. Twinkle lights are the perfect metaphor for joy. Joy is not a constant. It comes to us in moments, often ordinary moments. Sometimes we miss out on the bursts of joy because we're too busy chasing down extraordinary moments. Other times we're so afraid of the dark that we don't dare let ourselves enjoy the light. I believe a joyful life is made up of joyful moments, gracefully strung together by trust, gratitude, inspiration, and faith. And I just love that quote. Like when I read it the first time, and even when I read it now, I just felt like, especially that part about, ordinary moments, that we miss out on those ordinary moments because we're chasing the extraordinary. So I'd love to hear maybe from the three of us, like what was some ordinary moment of joy that you experienced this week? Because sometimes we really miss out on those. And I think it's so important because, I'm a law of attraction coach. And I think that, whatever we focus on expands, right? So I think it's important to look out for those ordinary moments of joy. So, so I'll share just one quickly. This week I was in Mexico City. I was sitting with a friend at this beautiful restaurant. We were looking for another restaurant. We couldn't find it. We're getting a little stressed out. It's a big city. We see this other restaurant and it just appeared and looked really good. We went in, we had the best service, the best food, great service. And we just sat there. I said, oh, you know what? We couldn't find the restaurant we wanted. We got something even better. It was so great. And it was just this moment of total gratitude for finding this amazing restaurant. So, so that was one of my little ordinary moments of joy.
Well, that's beautiful. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, for me, it was, I actually joined a air yoga class on Sunday.
Awesome.
And that was my first time trying it out. And it was interesting because I've been joining this yoga club in Bangkok, where I'm at currently, since a couple of weeks. And every time this air yoga thing kept staring at me, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to try this. It's like for whatever reason. And then I was thought, okay, just get over it. Just try, just explore and see. You got nothing to lose. And I'm so glad I did, because that was being like the most amazing experience in terms of not transcending gravity, but playing with gravity and really allowing yourself to flow and be and float in the air and do like all this movement where your body feels like elongating, but in a very gentle and soft way, and yet powerful way. So that's been really my joy of the week, air yoga.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It is. Mine for me is just connecting with friends and friends I've known for, a really long time, and we're still able to, connect and laugh. And even I went to my friend's house on Sunday, and it was just beautiful. It's like we don't connect every day or every moment, but we still, once we see each other, it's like we haven't skipped a beat. So it's just really wonderful. And it is simple, but means a lot of joy.
That's awesome.
Maybe we could ask Klaus. Klaus, would you like to share with us if you had anything nice that happened to you throughout the week?
You can just press the unmute button at the bottom if you want to. In the meantime, why don't we just go and introduce ourselves to those people who are watching for the very first time. Just a reminder, we meet every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific or 12 noon. And we also have a Facebook page at the Back to Joy Show. There we go. Also so glitzy and glamorous. I love it. And so, the purpose of the show is really just to uplift and inspire. And you get 3 life coaches to support you as well if you want to join us live, call in, and log out whenever you want. So my name is Jamie Smith, and I'm a certified law of attraction coach and a intuitive life strategist. And we have another participant joining us. Hello, welcome to you. I'm just going to put you, let's see. I'm going to mute you for one moment. Welcome to the call. And,
welcome to the call. Mm-hmm.
And so I love to, hi, welcome back. And I love to help people to achieve the life of their dreams using law of attraction tips, really easy to apply law of attraction tips, so they can create a rich, full, and delicious life with ease and joy. Take it away, Paul. Paul, this way, that way, that.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. So the thing is, so today's theme show is how much joy can you stand? And this is such an important question, because on many levels, you cannot experience more. You can only experience the joy in your life that is in proportion to the joy you believe you deserve. And that is, in essence, what the law of attraction explains. And for me, the law of attraction simply means that it's the law of resonance. It simply means that the outside always reflects the inside, and not the other way around. And that's how, or where many people get confused. They are trying to look for that great thing out there without realizing that they first need to look within. And that law of attraction really explains to you that how you vibrate inside is what you draw to you, is what you attracts to you. And the question, how much joy can you stand in your life, has to do with how much joy do you believe you're worthy of? How much joy can you open up to in your life? And there are so many of us who have so many filters, beliefs, what I call distorting beliefs in my book, Sacred Joy, Remembering Who You Really Are, distorting beliefs or thoughts that were taught to us, that were given to us by our parents, then by our peers, by society, and that basically were passed down to us from generation to generation to generations. And that's really why it's so important to ask yourself that question: how much joy do I believe I'm worthy of? How much joy can I accept in my life? And that is, of course, a question that is a question that has unique answers for each and every one of us, depending on our background, depending on where we're from, our where we are in our evolution, in our stage. And I know from my own experience that it is always something that is expanding, because every time you think you're there, it's like, oh, okay, maybe there's more joy you can accept. Maybe there's more. Maybe there's more. And there's more. And at times it can be a little scary because you can still have that nagging voice in the back of your head. Hey, wait a minute. I mean, can you really open up to that much joy? Do you think you're worried about that? Because a lot of time your monkey mind will trick you and will say, hey, wait a minute. Don't get excited too soon, Don't get overexcited because something bad might happen. Something might wait for you at the corner. And that's a belief that so many of us have inside, like don't get too excited yet because something bad will show up. If you're like overly enthusiastic, if you're overly excited, if you're overly joyful, they're almost like this kind of thing of polarity, like, after the high will come the low. And the question is, okay, what kind of belief do you believe you have within yourself that can prevent you from really expanding your acceptance of joy? Mm-hmm. So back to you, Sarah. How much joy do you believe you can stand, or what does it mean to you?
I think it's a very powerful question because basically I think we have that limit we put up for ourselves that, I don't want to expect too much. I don't want to, if I get too much of a good thing, then it's going to be really bad. So I feel like it's almost an ancient belief in a sense because it's been passed down through so many generations. And I mean, even as a kid, I would think, don't expect too much and you're going to get let down if you do. So it's just, trying to reframe that and really change what we've been taught and what we do really want to create and know we're worthy of that. So I feel like it is something, I mean, I noticed it the other day because we definitely all work on the law of attraction, like attracts like, and my day was just going really good. And I usually say my affirmation, I'm the luckiest girl in the world. Things are always working out for me. And then I just kind of was like, oh my God, what if it doesn't though? Like right after I said it, and I was like, oh, that's, I gotta, look at that and see, why do I doubt it? Since it's like everything's gone so smooth all day, then it's like, uh-oh, what's gonna happen now? So I had to, relook at that and know, wait a minute, I'm worthy and deserving of creating happiness and expansiveness and joy. But it is hard, there are definitely moments where it's not easy to do. You worry it's going to fail, and then when it does fail, then you're like, see?
Exactly. Yeah.
I love that. I'm gonna steal that quote. I'm the luckiest girl in the world. Well, I might use it sometimes. I don't know.
Back to the show, Jamie.
Sorry.
It's a good one.
You know what? You bring up a good point, which is a perfect segue for my first law of attraction tip. If you don't mind, I want to share one with you. When I really started putting the law of attraction to use in my life, I attracted something really big, and I went up to my mentor. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And he looked at me and he says, we don't say, I can't believe it in law of attraction land. And when you're watching shows like this, when you're doing spiritual work, good things are going to start to happen. You're going to start to manifest things. You're going to, break that glass ceiling, so to speak. And so instead of saying, I can't believe it, he said to me to say, love when that happens.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So I love that little tip. Paul, I know you say it all the time. It's like, as soon as something good happens, just say to yourself, love when that happens. You attract it. So in other words, get used to it. Again, how much joy can you handle? What if the universe wants to bring you so much more? And I know for myself, I've limited it and I've put a sort of a glass ceiling and it's like, no, dream big, be open. So I just wanted to share that. Oh, we have somebody who's just joining us now. So hello. And hello. I'm going to just unmute you and, if you want to speak later on, you can. You're calling by your phone. You can press *6 to unmute yourself at any time if you want to speak or share. Welcome to the show for the person who just joined using their phone. All right.
Yes, and we'd like to as well let you know, like if you have a question, you can raise your hand, or you can unmute yourself with regards to what we just shared with you, with how much joy you can stand. So feel free to do so.
And then to raise your hand, you just select participants at the bottom of your screen if you're on the computer, and then raise hand, and then we can see you there.
Yes. Yes. That quote, how much joy can you stand, to me also makes me think of that quote I'd read in Marianne Williamson's book, Return to Love, to the effect of what we're the most afraid of is our light, which for me is also, our core essence, our joy essence. We all use different terminology, but they're pointing to the same state of vibration, because again, joy is a state of vibration. And something that is so, I feel, very interesting, when you start to really asking yourself, why does it feel uncomfortable, when or if I would allow more joy in my life? Mm-hmm. And where or how can I, because any expansion, if you will, of course, will create some sort of breaking, because you're expanding, which means that you're going to have to, at some point, break through and out of that shell. And so many of us have been living a shell, which is a shell of protection, which is a shell of safety, which pretty much is a shell I've been receiving from our parents, from society, like don't go there, or don't do this, don't do that, because there's that fear, the danger, and the question really is when you can truly bring awareness to that shell, first of all, and realize that it's there, because there's so many of us who are not even aware that there is that shell, that sort of like cocoon, that feels comfy, and that we don't want to get out of it because of fear, basically. And we're back to, that duality between fear and love, or fear, what I like to call fear and joy. So there's a question.
Okay.
Actually, so what was the refrain to? I can't believe this just happened. Okay.
Oh, yes, that's for me. I didn't even saw that. Okay, Jamie, what was the reframe to? I can't believe this just happened. So we were talking before, if something, get used to good things happening to you. And when they do, when you attract something that's just wonderful, instead of saying, I can't believe that, say, love when that happens. Love when that happens. Great. Thanks for asking. You bring up a good point, Paul, I remember Brene Brown again said, joy is actually one of the most threatening emotions there is. So what I'm thinking now is what is it that we really long for? I mean, you've inspired, you're one of the most joyful people I know, and you've really inspired me to go in the direction of even more joy in my life. And I know that my fear came up. So I was thinking maybe we could throw that out to the people who are watching or listening right now. A question that just came to me is, what is something that you really long for in your heart to create, but maybe you're feeling a little fear around? And maybe we have 3 life coaches here to support you. So if you want to, if you're calling in, you want to unmute yourself, you can just press *6, or you can also write in the chat section. You can, and we'll read it out loud. But what does that bring up for you guys about joy being the most threatening, or how do you still move forward even if you're scared? You want to. Because I love that quote, or the book by Alan Cohen, "Let joy be your compass." Mm-hmm. And I think that's a really good. That is a good compass. Joy is a really great compass to go, and it feels good, but it can also be scary.
It can feel very scary. It can feel very scary because we've been living, and we still are living, in fear-based society, and where fear is the normal and joy is exceptional. And whenever we feel joy, or whenever we ask ourselves, okay, what is really my joy? People don't even ask themselves the question, what is really my joy? Where would I feel the highest joy? I mean, if you would take basically like some polls in the street, that would be a very interesting experiment to ask, okay, I mean, what is your highest joy? Where do you find your highest joy? You know, why does joy feel so good? And you know, and that's something that is so taboo, because again, that means that you're basically you're going beyond the fear. You're going beyond the fear. And I know in my personal life that on many years, I heard Oprah saying, you know, I'm a big Oprah fan. You know, I've been watching her for like, you know, many years. And something that always struck me in her show was a line to the effect of always follow your passion. Whatever you do with your work, always follow your passion. Passion first, and the rest, the money will follow. Passion first, and the money will follow. And I always, that really spoke directly to my heart, because, you know, I worked as a lawyer for 15 years, and frankly, that was not my passion. That was not my passion. I mean, there were things that I found was interesting, such as the writing part, you know, and it helped me a lot to structure my mind and my brain and to articulate my thoughts. And I'm very, very grateful for that experience. I met great people. And of course, the money was good, you know, but beyond that, there was also that feeling like, okay, but is that really your passion? Is that really what you feel like you want to do? And that's something I never, ever was told by my parents, by anyone, you know, when I went to study. What is your highest joy? What do you really love? What would you love doing? I mean, what really speaks to your heart? It never dawned to me. I mean, it was just like, okay, you got to do something that can get you a job, that can, you know, give you money. I mean, that was the only thing, you know. I don't know for you guys if it was different, if you were lucky to have parents that had a different, you know, level of awareness, consciousness. But for me, it was just like, you know, you got to do something that is stable, that is safe. And that's why, you know, I went to choose legal study, and, you know, became a lawyer, you know. So I don't know about you.
So what do you do when you get in those spaces of where you feel like you're blocked or you can't move past it? You just keep pushing through the joy, or how do you expand that joy, I guess, in a sense?
Yeah, well, I would say that there's different way to go about it. One of the approach that really helps me a lot is, first of all, to be in a state of awareness as far as the fear goes. You know, to first of all really almost ask messages to my fear, like, what are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to teach me? And in parallel, I would say that there is that feeling where, because I had some glimpse of what joy is, which is for me like that state of lightness, that state of, like I shared with you at the first show, you just want to go and dance. You just feel light. You just want to, you know, it's just that moment when you share laughter with good friends, that moment where you basically feel like, wow, you know, life is really worth to live. And those are glimpses that we get from that state of joy. And that's for me where when I feel down, I can really compare, you know, my vibration to that vibration and say, okay, right now, this is the fear that I'm feeling. I need to accept it. Right. And that's the first step for me that is so important, is to not, you know, deny the fear, to not run away from it, but to simply embrace it, because it's got a message for you. It always has a message. And sometimes you don't want to hear that message. Sometimes you don't want to hear that message because sometimes you're not ready. Sometimes you're not ready. And now I'm in a stage where I can be more, I would say, accepting, even when I'm not ready, you know. It's like when Eckhart Tolle says, sometimes you need to accept that you can't accept. And so because then that brings you to that peace where you don't have to find an answer right away. And that's also sometimes where we get caught up, so many of us, like, I've got to find an answer now. I have to figure this out now, you know. I need to do it now. Well, the truth of the matter, right now in this moment, you're somewhere doing whatever, and you don't need to. You don't need. That would be beautiful, but you're not ready because you're not peaceful enough. You're not still enough within to hear what your joy tells you. To hear what your joy wants to tell you. Because for me, that joy is always, or your soul, if you want to use that terminology, or God or source, always has those quality of whispers. It's always a whisper. Because joy doesn't want to force anything on you. Joy wants to say to you, wouldn't it be inspiring to do that? How about that? How about going that direction? How about doing this? There's always this quality of invitation. There's always this quality of, offering. And it's never about forcing or pushing, like joy has to be this way. If that's how your intuition speaks to you, then you have to really go much deeper than that, because that is that joy, that essence of joy for me is always a quality of whisper. And there's also that part where you're really in that relaxed state, and a lot of time the answer will come when you least expect it, because you completely relax, you completely let go of it. And then that's it. And that's when, it will flow to you. And that's why, it's so important to relax and open up. So.
It is so true. And I just want to share something quickly. I'm going to be very vulnerable here, people. But I had, in January, I was starting to lose a little bit of motivation for some of the coaching that I was doing, and I didn't know why. And so I just want to share one quote with you. And it's this. This is exactly what Paul was talking about. This is just a little law of attraction quote. It says, the easiest way to become more positive is actually to become less negative. Give attention, energy, and focus to what you do want. So I love this quote. It's really not about becoming more positive. It's, positivity and joy is actually our natural state. It's actually about becoming less negative. So what I did is, instead of freaking out, instead of trying to figure it out, I just let go. I was very gentle with myself, did things that made me feel good, focus on what I want, which is I wanted clarity, and trusted that it would come. Meanwhile, I meet Paul. We starts talking about, well, what's your highest joy? And I said, well, I used to do acting and comedy, and I started getting back into that, but I had this either or thinking. Well, I'm happy to say, people, that Paul and I are actually doing a combined seminar in June in Montreal, June 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, which is a combination of law of attraction, spirituality, and comedy. And it was like a gong went off. It just felt so authentic. We'll be posting the link to that for those of you in Montreal who want to come to Montreal. But it was like, it was such a sense of relief. So that's how you also know you're going on the right track, is when you feel relief, when you feel like,
yes.
So the easiest way to become more positive is actually to become less negative. And when you let go, the answers can come.
Yes, you need to let go, and you need to also, I think it's not that you need, but it would certainly help to realize that you don't have to figure it out right away. You can simply ask the question, and the asking is already enough. And as you do that, simply allow and open up for the answer to show up. And more often than not, it will really bubble up in the most, unexpected way. When you completely are relaxed, you let go of it. And then, the clarity will come to you, in the most surprising way sometimes. So how about you, Sarah?
Yeah, I feel similar, where definitely awareness is key, because otherwise, if I didn't hear me kind of get, or not really hear, but feel myself get kind of like, wait a minute, I don't know if I can have that much joy. I was able to see that, feel that, notice it, and then say, well, I can expand that, and that's okay. But I like that you say, accepting the moment where you're at. And I think we're such like, we got to fix everything. And, like what you said too, it's not really, we are naturally positive. It's just releasing what isn't naturally us. So it makes it easier, because we get kind of stuck in like, oh, I need to fix myself and I need to do this or that. So it's just really honoring that moment and where we are. So that's where I just, recognized that and was like, good to know. And, and just know that, I am worthy and deserving enough to extend that. But yeah, we don't really have to get right to it and go see a counselor or something, you know.
Yeah.
Just honoring that moment.
Yeah. So I just thought this is maybe a good time for those of you who are or who've called in live, if you want to ask a question or get coached around what you've heard today, like what brings you joy, you want to share that, or what is your highest joy? I mean, those words from Paul inspired me to really combine more of my acting, my comedy into my seminars. That is my highest joy, is inspiring people and making them laugh. And so what is your highest joy, or do you need help around that? Then you can unmute yourself if you're by your phone by pressing *6, or you can press the mute button below to unmute yourself, or you can raise your hand and I'll unmute you, or you can yes, or you can ask a question as well. So yes. Okay, sorry, I thought somebody was writing me a question. All right.
It was just Sarah.
Well, I wrote it down. I figured it'd be helpful.
Oh, it's Sarah's writing to me?
What's that?
Did you write to me?
Well, I just wrote the questions out.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, she wrote the question.
I like to visually see stuff.
Yeah, you're a very visual girl. It's good for what you do, right? So.
Right, yeah, it's helpful.
Yeah, no, it's so very interesting because I know when I grew up and during a lot of my childhood, there was always this belief in me somehow that which is fear essentially, but there was always this kind of belief like for so many things, I know something bad will happen. I know something bad will happen. And there was that kind of really negativity type of approach where, like, in a very paradoxical way, I would prefer to predict that something bad would happen so that if it did not, I would feel relieved. And I would feel better about it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And that was like, that belief was so ingrained in me, I think probably until my late 20s, until my early 30s, when I had my spiritual shift. And part of my spiritual shift was to, I would say the highest catalyst to me was the ability to observe my thought process, to observe my thought pattern. And so there is a comment. Okay, this is a difficult one for me. Gen people are very superstitious, and I was brought up with a belief of being careful, not celebrating loudly, not getting excited about things. Is still very much part of me. Exactly, that's exactly it. That superstition also was very powerful in my own culture. I'm from the island of Martinique, and we're talk a lot about spells, magic spells, and don't do this and don't do that kind of thing. And that's so very prevalent. That it's less nowadays, of course, but it was very much prevailing, back in my days when I grew up. And probably a lot of my belief system was, a reflection of the collective fear, of the collective, consciousness that was going on back then in Martinique. And it really took me almost 3 decades to sort of, first of all, realize that it was there by simply noticing it and not even judging it, but simply noticing, okay, the voice is there again. The voice is there again. The voice is there again. The voice tells me, so like a silly example, if there would be like a bonus at work, and I would really work the hardest, but I would never allow myself to get my stake too high, because I would say, I'm sure I'm not going to get the bonus. I'm sure I'm going to get the bonus just in case, to kind of hope that, if at least I get a little something, that'll be good. So there was always this kind of, so how do you talk to someone who's been brought up with that kind of belief system about the law of attraction?
Yeah. It's not easy. Yeah.
How do you do that? So there is another, yes, so yes, the evil eye in my culture. Yes, completely. I mean, there, and what I like to share about this is that it's very important to realize that we have our personal fear, but there's also a collective body of fear. that it's very important that as you move along on your spiritual path, you learn to distinguish and to discern, those two, because of course, they're intertwined. But it's very important that as you detach yourself from your personal fear, the collective fear is still there. The collective fear is still there. So it does, so it's important to realize that, your job is to work on your own personal fear, because there's nothing you can do, about that collective body of fear. So your job is to really work on your own personal fear. And as you do that, you will, as being an example of someone who's going beyond the fear, you will be an inspiration for others. Mm-hmm. And that's how, we can each and every one of us can transform the collective by embodying it, by being it, and then you're being an inspiration for others. And through that inspiration, you can help lift the collective vibration. So, but that evil eye is something that is, Martinique, hello. The island, that's something that is very prevalent as well. So, do you want to share anything, guys?
I just want to say that, I love the Oprah quote, you don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you believe. And whether you grew up in the Caribbean, which I definitely get, there's a lot of that kind of superstitious stuff, and many places in the world, anywhere, Indian culture, many places in the world. But I grew up in Canada, and I grew up with, there were some beliefs that were handed to me that I had to question. So I think it's important, as we are on this path, is to question what we believe about things. And does it resonate with you? And if it doesn't, it's okay. I want you to know it's okay to let the things go that don't feel good. And I love this. I'm going to share, me and my quotes. All right, this is a law of attraction quote. It's okay to be selfish. This is when it comes to law of attraction. Care about your vibe enough to include only the things in your life that make you feel good. So when it comes to law of attraction and taking care and your self-care, selfish really equals self-care. I know that's a hard one for people to grasp, myself included at times. But I really think it's important to really ask ourselves, what is this belief that I have? Unfortunately, I love my dad, but he did teach me. He said it with his Scottish accent. He said, "Jamie, you're a dreamer. Stop your dreaming. Be realistic." And I don't know. I was like, oh, okay. I felt like it was bad to dream big. And then I watch Oprah, and then Oprah would say, "Dream big. Dream your biggest dream." And I'm like, you know what? That actually feels better. So. With all due respect to my amazing father, I just said, you know what, I am no longer going to, I think it's okay to dream big. For me, it's fun to dream big. So I think it's important for us to question our beliefs. Does this feel good? If it doesn't, then I think it's important to let those things go, and it's okay to do that. So I just wanted to share that. What about you, Sarah?
I think what hit me most was that belief of not celebrating loudly, and it's hard when we grow up with that. So it's kind of like those baby steps towards, getting to that point. Because I was always very shy. I never, spoke out loud a lot. And it's like little by little that came out, and, then you expand and expand. So I think it's something, noting that, especially when it's in our culture, we grow up with it and it is so heavy that, we do have to remember the outside source and then our own inner, but it's just honoring that movement out of your shell and into that joy space and celebrating you. And I think selfish is considered such a bad word, but it is. I like that. Selfish is like self-care.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yes. I personally use the term uniqueness. And for me, there is really that sense where, each and every one of us has to honor our own uniqueness, and part of that uniqueness is your path, and you need to honor your path, you need to honor your human path. And that means that, your dad, for instance, Jimmy, kind of inherited, beliefs, at around for that, were hand down from his father and from his forefather and so forth, up to a point where, at some point, along the chain, one individual will say, wait a minute, where is that coming from? I don't recognize myself in this, And that's when, you know, that's when we start breaking the mold, and that's when we start realizing, okay, you know, I need to stay true to who I am. I need to stay true to my to honor, you know, how I view it. And for me, that doesn't work. And that's the part where it's so important, you know, to again, to go back to that awareness, because there are so many of us who are not even aware, you know, that we are acting upon those beliefs, you know, and for so many of us, there are subconscious. So not even, you know, we're not even consciously aware, you know, that we are acting upon those beliefs. And it's when you start doing some sort of inner work that you start, and most of the time you start also having those mirrors, those situations, those relationships, you know, that keep kind of knocking at your door, and you're kind of like, why is it that I keep meeting that same partner? Why is it that we're having the same issues? Or why is it that I keep, you know, like having that same work where I feel like, you know, I'm not respected? Or why is it that I have those friends that keep abusing me? Why I can't set up my boundaries? There's like so many of those issues that we're being faced with. And then a lot of time, you know, we need to first take a break and realizing this got nothing to do about them. It really has to do about your own state of inner awareness. Are you aware of what's going on within, you know, and can you really, you know, shine the light of your consciousness on those patterns and free yourself from them? Because ultimately that's what it is. It's to give you that sense of inner freedom when you can simply be you. You can just be you, you know, and that you is unique. That you is unique. And it's not about your father, it's not about your mother, it's not about your grandfather, it's not about all those generations, it's about you. What do you want? You know, what do you believe? Because we have free will, you know, as human beings. So that was my two.
Exactly. If you guys don't know what you want, we're going to be ending the show today with a beautiful meditation, a joy meditation, to help you start getting a glimpse of what is the highest joy that it's calling you. And I'd love for you to, you can go after, once the meditation is over, you can just share it with us privately or on Facebook. And that's how we're going to end the show. So no worries if you're not like, I don't know what my highest joy is. I don't know what it does. This is going to be a great meditation for clarity. It's at the end of the show.
Yes, but yes, I'd like to ask a question too. So I'm sorry, I don't know your name. You who made a comment on the Indian culture. If you could let us know, if you could maybe unmute yourself, if you would like to, or just send a chat and let us know. Or maybe Sarah, you know her name?
Yeah, Midu.
Midu? Okay, all right. So I would love to ask Midu actually, if those beliefs or those patterns are still very a burden in your life, basically.
Hi.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's even like my nan, you know, when I was like probably 4 years old, would, you know, in Indian culture, if your right eye twitches, it's bad luck, right? So
Yeah.
I remember she would like walk around with like a big piece of paper, like on her right eye.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's still very much with me. I remember I'm not a big sharer on Facebook, and maybe that's why, or I'm not a big, Sarah knows, I start breaking out in a sweat if I have to like share something.
Okay.
And, you know, I was very shy too, and maybe that's all part of it. But, you know, we went to Marrakesh last November and I posted a photo. I was so excited, you know, and it's very hard for me to get excited, you know. So I like posted a photo on Facebook, and then 2 days later I got the stomach bug, and my mom was like, you shouldn't have posted on Facebook. Like, you know what, maybe she's right. So it's it's still with me. It's hard not to when you've lived with, you know, all your life like that.
Yes. And what do you feel? I mean, what from what we've shared, you know, earlier, what do you think could help you to, if not completely free you, but at least give you some sort of comfort or reassurance that, you know, you can feel more at peace with it?
Yeah, I think that's gonna be like a work in progress. I'm just going to gradually start, and Sarah knows I'm trying better to share, and just even like baby steps, I think.
Yes, yes.
I don't know if this will help, but I just read a book called Life Loves You by Robert Holden and Louise Hay, and there's a little exercise in there where you actually just say to yourself, and at first, honestly, I was like, this is so cheesy, but you actually say to yourself, life loves me, life loves me, life loves me. And you say it 7 times in the morning and 7 times at night. You can look in the mirror too to see, you can really see where the resistance is. And I started noticing, and you do it for a week. And I did notice all of these little coincidences. I'm like, oh my gosh, life does love me. And so it was just a really gentle way for me to get used to that the universe has got my back. And I don't know if that resonates with you, but I just wanted to share that exercise with you.
Yeah, I'll give it a go. I mean,
cool.
I do believe that the universe has got my back. It's just kind of trying to live my life with more joy, you know?
Yeah. Well, you're here, so that's great.
Yeah. And, you know, as you guys, I'm sure, like, feel the same way, you know, being in touch with Sarah on a regular basis always brings me more joy in my life immediately. So,
thank you.
Yeah, great thing. Yeah.
Make me turn red. Yes. Surround yourself with people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Great one. Yes.
Cool.
Yes, yeah.
Beautiful. And I think it's so important to, like, you know, I think for our natural state is a high vibration, but sometimes with certain areas of our life, we have to just go up it gradually. We do little things, you know, gradually, and then it sort of builds our confidence muscles. You know, I've been slowly going in the direction of more joy in all of us. You know, it's like, it's almost like, who are you to think you can have so much joy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But really, it's that Marianne Williamson quote, who are you not to, you know? We're meant to experience, or we're meant to shine. And as we keep busting through those fears, letting go of those fears, life becomes so exciting. And, you know,
it does. It does. And again, you know, for me, it's like joy, again, is not a thing. Joy is really a state of vibration. It's really that state where, for me, I feel there is a dance between that peace, you know, a feeling of peace, because you cannot have joy if you don't feel peace in your heart. For me, you cannot have joy if you don't feel, you know, a sense of openness in your heart, with an open heart, you know. And you cannot have joy if you don't feel trust in life, you know. And that's what, you know, Jamie alluded to earlier with the quote, you know, life loves me. It's really about, you know, reassuring that, you know, there is that trust that life really is there, and that life wants the best for you. And life really wants our joy. And the issue a lot of time is that we don't believe we're worthy of that joy. You know, we don't believe we can accept and open up to that joy. And there's really that thought pattern that is so deeply ingrained in us since a very young age. You know, since a very, very young age, and a lot of us are not even aware of that. You know, we're not even aware of that. And the practice really, by doing those affirmations, like Jamie says, is really kind of reminding you of the truth, you know, because affirmations are really reminders of the truth that helps you to, again, remember, yes, you are worthy of the joy. Yes, you can open up to, you know, to how much joy as you want, how much joy as you can, you know, and that's really, you know, for me, the help of those affirmations, as well as, you know, the law of attraction principles, to bring you back to that state of vibration, you know.
And I think also it could be, sometimes we're afraid to experience so much abundance, how much joy, how much love can we stand? Because it sometimes threatens other people in our family too. It almost like people start to get jealous of us, like, oh, look at you, so happy all the time, you know. And I think that can also be threatening sometimes. And so it's a subtle way of holding us back. But really, as we allow ourselves to grow, because I really truly believe we're here to grow and expand. Our souls are designed to just keep growing and expanding and evolving, because it feels good. It'll be scary, but it also inspires people around you. But it can also be threatening too, right? So great share.
I agree. Yeah. I say that too, actually. I say in the morning, I live life, life loves me. And sometimes it's like, I love life, life loves me. And then I just keep saying it, and then it's like life does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
That is a good
Yeah.
one. I do like that
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Something that really helps me a lot in my meditation practice. For me, the only purpose of my meditation is to lift my vibration. That's all it is. And I know that is being lifted when I smile and when I laugh.
Mm.
So if anything, that I would recommend to anyone is just having a laughing meditation in the morning. You know, you just
That's awesome.
because that's really your body never lies. You cannot fake a laugh. I mean, of course you can leave, but you know when it's fake.
Right.
You know, and one thing is for sure, the body never lies. You know, your thought can drive you crazy, your mind can drive you crazy, but the body never lies. You know, and you know when you have that laugh and that smile on your face, that's it. That's when you're kind of like getting to that vibration, because again, joy is a vibration, and that's when, from that state of relaxation, that's when you can, you know, really make this affirmation, because then you can really believe that. And you can really feel it, you know. So it's again that space where, you know, you're back to that joy feeling, which is simple, you know. So all right, so how do we do a laughing meditation?
Yeah,
Oh,
Paul,
okay.
how do you do it, Paul? I don't know. You should just record your laugh, because every time I hear you laugh, I like.
I know, I do too.
I
Yeah.
love your laugh.
I mean, I actually, you know, I don't want to sell my stuff, but I made those, you know, those meditation, you know, which are called, you know, sacred joy meditation.
Don't be shy, Paul. Somebody
Okay,
wrote.
so, thank you, Klaus. Thank you. So I made those meditation called Sacred Joy Meditations. You can go on my website. You know, it's called, you know, www.heartfelt.com. And if you click on Sacred Joy Meditations, I've got a couple of them, and I just keep laughing a lot throughout the meditation. But it's really to help people remind, you know, people that it is, you know, don't take it so seriously. You know, and that's the issue for so many of us, is like we get caught up in the drama, we get caught up in the heaviness, because we take things way too seriously, way too seriously. Which is why, you know, I have this little thing, you know, which is again a reminder to keep it light, and but to go back to your questions, you know, laughing meditation, it's I give you an example, you know, it's like you can just imagine or picture something that made you laugh during the week, or something that can always bring you a smile on your lips, you know, and it can be anything, and start from there, and just start from there, and bring and from that space, you know, you can just breathe in and relax, breathe in and relax, and breathe into that laugh, breathe into that smile, and simply remind yourself of anything that brings a smile on your lips, and that's enough, you know, and start from there. So that would be my advice to you. So
yeah, I think anyway.
Do we have? Yes. So let me know. Okay. All right. Yes. I mean, just take it away, Jamie.
I'm gonna end the show with a meditation. But Sarah, did you have a card?
Yeah.
I love when Sarah does private angel readings, and it's amazing. And I said, "Can you pick a card, please?" I said her a private. She said she picked one for today's show. So, yeah.
Oh, cool. So this is another deck, and it's the gods, angels, and goddesses. And I got Angel of the Universe. You are being encouraged to expand your thinking.
Wow.
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 Oh, beautiful. Yeah, we've talked a lot about expansion tonight as well. So that's very nice.
All right. Well, then, shall we move into the meditation to expand our thinking?
Yes.
Inner joy. Okay.
Vibration. Take it away.
So, thanks everybody for listening and for joining us and for your shares. And with that, if you are not driving, then you can just close your eyes and just take a couple of slow, deep breaths. And just feel your Your feet connected to the earth, to the ground. And with each inhale, breathing in cleansing oxygen. Just exhale out any tension. Any fears, any doubts, any worries. Just give yourself a moment to enjoy this moment fully. And just notice if you're holding on anywhere in your body, if there's any tension in your body. If you're holding on in your body, chances are you're holding on in your mind. So just breathe into that area of tension. And on the exhale, just let it all go. Allowing yourself to be even more relaxed. Today we have been talking about stepping into your highest joy. That sometimes we have fears around that. So I'm going to ask you a question to help release anything that's standing in the way of you moving forward into creating more joy and stepping into your highest joy. So I'm going to ask you this question and just allow the answer to come up. It may not come up right away. It may come up later. That's okay. Don't think, just allow it to bubble up. And this is a great question you can ask to uncover any negative belief. So just see what comes up for you. And the question is, I'd like to experience more joy, or I would like to experience my highest joy, but I can't because I would love to step into my highest joy, but I can't because. And just notice what comes up for you. Without shame or without judgment, just noticing what comes up. Is it that you don't feel worthy? That you don't know how? That you feel stuck? And if you're, just breathe into any discomfort that you may be feeling. And if you're willing to let that go, just acknowledge that to yourself. And in this comfortable space, I want you to now imagine there's a door, a beautiful door in front of you. It's a magical door. And on this door, there's a peephole. And I want you to imagine walking up to this door. And as you look through the peephole, the life of your dreams or your highest joy is waiting on the other side. The highest joy that you're longing for, longing to create, experience, is on the other side of that door. And I want you to just walk up, imagine walking up to that door, look through the peephole, and just get a glimpse of what's on the other side. It may be symbolic, it may be a color, it may be a feeling, or it may be a place or a situation. You may see people. And again, if you don't see anything, that's okay. The answer may come to you later on. And just allow yourself to breathe in the joy that you are seeing, sensing, feeling on the other side. And now I want you to imagine that this peephole is getting bigger to be the size of a small window. And now you can clearly see what's on the other side. your highest joy is right there. It's been there all along. It's so exciting to know that it's right there. And I want you to now open that door. It's never been locked. Just open that door and begin to walk into your highest joy and just feel it all around you, even if it's scary. Knowing that this is the future that is calling you. That you can have this, you can make this happen. You deserve this. You just ask yourself, what is one small, gentle action step you can take? Just the smallest thing to move in that direction. Can you make a phone call? Can you send an email? Can you watch this meditation later on and do this meditation again? There's no right or wrong. And if you're willing to take that action step, just affirm that to yourself. Acknowledge yourself for the willingness to experience your highest joy. For as you do so, you inspire all those around you. And with that, just take one more slow, deep breath and slowly open your eyes. And we're at the top of the hour. So I hope that you guys found that helpful. And do you guys want to say anything before we...
That was beautiful. Thank you.
Great. Awesome.
I was there. I was opening that door and...
wanted to stay there.
Yeah. Nice. So you guys can go and share on your thanks for a joyous hour. Well, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Again, you can go to Facebook to the Back to Joy.
Yes.
And share what opened up during that meditation if you want to.
Yes, it was great. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and see you next Tuesday, 9 PST. Jamie?
Yes?
Noon?
What? Huh?
Yeah, I want it like, okay, I say 9 PST, then you say noon.
Or 12 Eastern. That's right, every Tuesday.
And Sarah say 6 p.m. Central European time.
6 p.m. Central European time. We're still learning.
Okay, thank you guys.
Bye everybody.
See you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye.